Hello everyone, this time we're going to talk about which cards you should prioritize in your wish list for getting into full budget Magic the Gathering Old School. These cards are going to cost you more than 100 euros or dollars each. This is the criteria. So let's take a quick glance at the participants. Before I forget, Bazaar of Baghdad and Mishra's Workshop are disqualified because they are very expensive and deck specific. Not only that, you might want multiple copies and you should better buy a Black Lotus at that point. So we are left with 26 expensive cards. We have Black Lotus, very expensive card, like 3000. You all know what it does, fast mana at its finest. Then we have Juzam Djinn, most powerful clock in the format, mostly thanks to Dark Ritual plus usual fast mana, Black Lotus and stuff. Library of Alexandria, considered the 10th Power 9 card, great game breaker, especially if played early, or just taking advantage of Wheel of Fortune or Timetwister. Then we have blue Power 9 cards, Ancestral Recall, Timetwister, Time Walk. Next, Moxes, especially Mox Sapphire. Then Chaos Orb, best removal in the format. Then anti-creature cards, mostly sideboard material or main deck, especially the Moat and the Abyss. These cards are used by the deck, like control decks. Then dual lands. These cards, they allow you to play multiple colors. However, you need to play multiple copies to see an impact. These cards aren't extremely expensive, but you need to play multiple copies. And at last but not least, Wheel of Fortune. This is a weaker Timetwister. So in the last slot I have Juzam Djinn. This card is deck specific and it's just very expensive. 4 copies, you're going to spend 4000, so at that point you're going to buy a Black Lotus instead. Sit in a Bottle is another card that I wouldn't buy early. This is like a final piece, sideboard card, quite expensive. You need a couple copies, so 600 or 700. The Moat is also quite deck specific. You're using this card in the deck or maybe Triple S, sideboard card in Triple S. The Abyss is also deck specific, quite expensive. You need a couple, so it's in the same boat. Then I have Black Lotus. This card is very good, but it's just too expensive. This is the final purchase. Next I have dual lands. Like, these cards are the foundations of the game, but if you don't have a clear idea of what deck you want to play, you don't know what to buy. Like, these are also cards that you need in multiple copies, possibly 4 copies. So if you're not sure about what deck you want to build, You just don't know. Then Timetwister. Like, this card is very good, but it's only great if you have Moxes. So there are cards that you need to buy before this one. Then I have Time Walk. This card is obviously very good, but we are approaching the higher end, so there are priorities, and this is quite expensive. There are cards that are cheaper or have a bigger impact. Next, Wheel of Fortune. This is a way cheaper Timetwister. It doesn't allow you to shuffle your graveyard back into your library. Also, it's red, it's not blue. Way easier on on your wallet. Then Library of Alexandria. This card, you're going to use it in almost every deck. It's colorless, it's a source of mana, very expensive, like almost 1000, but it's just that good, so I'm going to rank it very highly, even though it's also very expensive. Next, Chaos Orb. This is very good, especially with Demonic Tutor, and it's colorless. You're going to use it in any deck, so I have it very high. Then Moxes, especially Mox Sapphire. These cards are the cards that actually make a difference between budget Magic and full budget Magic the Gathering Old School. So these are very high. However, my first pick is the card that has the highest impact as a single card. That is Ancestral Recall. This is how I would prioritize my purchases. Ancestral Recall is the most important card, then Moxes, then Chaos Orb, then Library of Alexandria, Wheel of Fortune. Like, Time Walk and Timetwister maybe should be higher, but I feel like the price-reward ratio is making me want to rank Chaos Orb higher. Dual lands, you need to make up your mind. Like Lotus, very expensive. The Abyss mode, it depends on the deck you're going to use, just like Sit in a Bottle. Actually, Sit in a Bottle is a bit more expensive, but this is okay for most decks. Decks that don't include cards from Arabian Nights, so maybe you might swap like this. This is reasonable. Juzam Djinn. It's a card for very few decks. So let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching and see you soon.